Lightning strikes by my window, hits my chest right in the morning, like a warning. Could have slept here for days. I felt your heartbeat, felt your mouth breathe, but it's not real. We were close to see the sun, but clouds got in our way, and so
Welcome everyone. Hi, I hope everyone's well tonight. Hi Kat, are you okay?
Hey Emma. Hi everyone. Nice to be back. I've missed you guys.
I know, it's been a while. We need to catch up. We need to catch up. So, how is everyone? It's nice to see you all in the chat. Thank you for coming to watch us, listen. Well, maybe not watch, maybe listen. But we do have some photos and things to show you in a bit. We will be talking about the Summer Wales case as well, but we're also going to have a catch up.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yes, we need a catch up. So, what have you been doing then, Kitty? Because I've missed you. I mean, I know we talk behind the scenes a little bit, but, you know, you're busy, I'm busy doing shifts, working, college, everything.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, college has been mad. I mean, it's been good. I've got courses, but we're also really, really close now to this flash mob. Oh, I'm so excited. We did our final rehearsal today and the performance is on Monday. So yeah, we've been getting ready for that and ready for our open day. Gonna possibly pop in tomorrow and help put up some bunting and put up posters and artwork and stuff that we've been working on throughout the term, so that when people come to the open day, they can have a look and see what we do at the college and stuff.
Yeah.
And
do you know what you could have done? You could have had a word with one of the schools and asked for some of the pupils to draw some 80s posters and things to put out. That would have been
wow. Good. Well, we do have our own. Well, there is an art course, so I'm guessing that the art people have done the artwork. I'm not a drawing-y type art person. I can do digital art all day long, but give me a pen and a piece of paper and I'm more likely to eat the crayons, to be honest, Emma.
Oh, really? Oh my God. Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that.
No, I try not to. I'll leave that to other people.
So that's good. And have you been told whether or not you're going to be able to have it? Are you going to be able to record it? Are you going to be able to put it online? I mean, there's a problem with the music.
Yeah, you know? I do think the music's going to be an issue now, because the college is a non-profit. They'll be able to use it for their own non-profit promotion, I guess. But in terms of the music that we're using, it's obviously copyrighted, and so any kind of commercial usage or monetization isn't going to be possible. But it might be possible that once it's gone public domain, because we are having like professional filming crew come down to film it, and we've got a soundtrack that we recorded today, which was loads of fun in the recording studio. It was amazing. So once that's layered over the video and it gets put into the public domain, I'm hoping that I can maybe upload it. Even if I upload it and never monetize it, there might be a possibility that I can put it on.
Well, you could upload it, but
that's not a bad shout. Amy said put it on TikTok. I could put it on TikTok.
Or you could upload it and put a different type of 80s music with it, and hopefully it might go.
Or I could upload it as a clip or a short and add YouTube music of ABBA on top of it, so it would be the same music, it just wouldn't be our soundtrack. So there's different possibilities. So I'm going to wait and see when it comes into the public domain. I'll let you guys know. It's really exciting, and I'm really thankful to everyone that's been supporting me as well with it, because it's, you know, it's a big deal. It's really exciting. It's on my bucket list to do a flash mob.
Yeah. Well, it's like
So
JQ5 says here in the chat. He said, "So proud of you. What an achievement. You've got this."
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I
That's
really
so
appreciate it.
nice. Everybody's really supportive. And if you, I mean, you probably haven't seen Kat in real life or even on YouTube, really, because she doesn't show her face. We don't really, both of us. We're sat here in our pajamas, probably. But
I'm in my hoodie now.
she's just so super slim. She's like a size 8, you know, UK size. She's tiny. She's tall. She's got that, you know, when she's dancing, she looks the part. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Oh, thank you, Emma. Thank you. I have to send you the last rehearsal video that I've got. I don't think I've sent that to you yet. Yeah. I can't wait to show you guys what I'm allowed to show you of it. I'm really excited.
Especially if there's going to be a proper film crew.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. We've got wide camera angles. We've got a fixed camera. We've got a handheld camera. We've got all kinds of things. We've got we went to the studio today. Oh, it's a great experience. Like I can't believe I've come from a place where I took people that had never sung and never danced before, and all of a sudden we've created this amazing thing. Oh, it's so exciting. I can't even. It's amazing. So yeah,
that's really good. Well, of course, I've been working for the last 8 days. Today was my first day off, and I've done nothing but sleep. 8 shifts in a row, and the amount of sick people. I mean, you expect that on an ambulance, obviously, because that's what it's there for. But generally, it's not as people think it is, and they join thinking it's going to be like the programs on the TV, and every job's going to be terrifying. You know, every job's going to be like mass bombing or something. Right. It's nothing like that at all. And a lot of the time, it's just some little old lady that's fallen. But this last 8 shifts has been something else. Like, oh, God. The upset, the trauma, the stress, you know, and that's why I made that post last night on my community page, because people need to realize when all this drama's going on and people are bashing each other on YouTube right, left and center, that, you know, there's people around them dying. There's, you know, if your relative died tomorrow, you don't really have something to then worry and be upset about. Like, just enjoy the fact that
exactly. I mean, we talk about some pretty serious stuff on our channels, but in terms of the YouTube drama, that's not my real life.
No,
but, you know, that's not what I live every day, and you know, and I know it's not what you live every day. It's just kind of getting a bit of perspective on what's going on YouTube, as in terms of what's going on in actual world. You know, it's a tiny little speck compared to that.
But I know you've taken a bit of a back step recently, and you've been kind of trying to head in a little bit of a different direction, just because of all this negative energy that's like flying around. And it's more so that than it is anything else right now. I mean, it used to be good content with a little bit of drama and nastiness, and it seems to be more of the latter and less of the first instance at the minute, to be honest.
Exactly. I think there's I mean, there are creators like you and Brooks that have a massive amount of integrity, and I'd like to think that integrity is quite a big part of my channel as well. But when it comes to just sort of like, you know, like I was saying in my stream the other day, my life is very different to what happens on YouTube. I still respect the fact that there are missing children. There are cases that I still want to talk about and I still want to cover. But what I don't want to do is be dragged into what everyone's opinion is of this other creator or that other creator, or what that person said to that person, or who called the CPS on each other or the police. And I don't care about that stuff. It's just not part of my real life.
They do try and drag you into it. It's like, you know, things go on with other creators that I'm friends with or not friends with or speak to once a month or whatever, and they're like, why are you protecting them, or why are you standing up for them? And it's like, wait a minute, I've not said a word. Like, leave me out of this shit. Like, I don't want to know. This isn't what my channel's about. If it was, then okay, maybe, but that's not what this channel's here for.
So Teal Hodge just said in chat, thank God my life isn't like YouTube. Well, exactly. I mean, I just wonder sometimes, like, can you imagine if YouTube was real life, like how people would actually speak to each other in real life if they didn't have a keyboard? There
would certainly be a lot more true crime going on, I think.
A lot more true crime and a lot more need for ambulances, Emma, I think, to be fair.
Yeah. I'm going to stay over here because I'll have to do less work than I would if I went.
It would just be a really scary world if people just spoke to each other in real life as they do on YouTube.
It's just, I find it interesting how one creator finds it so interesting, and that they have to go online and slate and F and blind over other creators and what they've done or haven't done, or how many views they've got or haven't got. And I'm just like, wait a minute. First of all, this isn't a competition. Second of all, have you really not got anything else going on in your life that you have so much time to sit here and bash other people? Why are you so interested in what other people are doing? Like, just don't get it.
Quite often just doing the exact thing that they're accusing everybody else of doing.
Exactly.
Which just kind of smacks of hypocrisy. And
I watched one creator the other night, and they were saying that people shouldn't be doing this when they're talking about summer, and they shouldn't be doing that when they're talking about summer. And I'm like, yeah, no, I agree. They shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
And then it carried on, and they were, by the time we got halfway through, they were, and this person is an effing this and an effing that. And I thought, wait a minute. Like, what were you saying?
The hypocrisy is real. The hypocrisy is real. But it's not until you actually take a step back from that and reevaluate a little bit. And like I said on my stream the other day when I was out with Chip, one of the things that you have to do as a YouTube creator, I think, is constantly be reevaluating where you're going, where you've been, and where you're going, and what you want to achieve, and what you want to give to the community, what you want to take out of the community. And just taking that little step back for me has helped me think, you know what, I do still want to cover true crime, because obviously I'm still interested in it, but I also want to bring a whole dose of something of my own to YouTube as well. And being a creative person, being a musical person, and a theatre type person, if you like, a lovey or a thespian, whatever you'd like to call me. I kind of want to bring some of that to my streams. I want to bring my cats to the stream because taking my cat out makes me feel calm, and if it makes me feel calm, then chances are it's going to make someone else feel calm. And if we can bring joy to YouTube as well as the darkness of the stories that we cover, then to me that's just my objective. I don't want to be part of any of this
ego
nonsense.
Somebody said in the chat. I completely agree.
Right.
But yeah, I know, I agree, and I have to laugh every time you're pushing that pram with the cat in. Seriously, I laugh my head off, and then afterwards, after I've calmed down laughing for a little bit, I think actually it's a really good idea. And bless her, this is something new we haven't seen before, and Chip seems to be really enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, people seem to like other channels where they take their dogs for a walk and stuff, and I just figured, well, you know what, I can take my cat out and we'll just bring a bit of joy. It's fun. At the end of the day, it's not necessarily the intensity that everybody wants. Some people need the intensity. They need every single detail on the crimes and stuff like that. But I think that's just going to be a part of my channel now. It's not going to be the whole ethos of it. Like, my channel is cat chats. Well, for a start, taking my cat out means I can have a good chat with everyone. Crime, I'll still cover some crime stories. And coffee, I mean, if anyone knows me, they know that if they don't see me with a cup of coffee in my hand, I probably need to be admitted to hospital or something, because I'm so addicted to it.
I know, when we went shopping that day, I'm sure we stopped at Costa at least 3 times in an hour.
At least 3 times. And I know every single Costa coffee, so I'm saying that name, you'll probably get adverts or something on the channel now, but every one of those coffee shops within a 10-mile radius, I know every single member of staff that works in them. They all know my order. I mean, literally, I'm that much of an addict.
So has Chip started ordering as well, or is it just you?
Oh, well, I mean, Chip is going to get a special for the Queen's Jubilee. So the Platinum Jubilee is coming up. So she's been on the throne for 60 years, 50 years, 70 years. A million and 10 years. I don't even know. Anyway, I'm going to decorate his stroller. I'm going to start decorating it with a theme or a season. So when the Jubilee's coming, I'm hoping to get some Union Jack bunting to put on it, so we can really
Oh God, you do make me laugh. Very creative, very creative. But I got the about 13 years ago, I think it was. I got the Diamond Jubilee medal, and then this last week I got the platinum one. You have to be in the service for 10 years as of that Jubilee to get it. So that's 20 I've got 2, and they come in these beautiful boxes. I'm thinking of saving them for Penny, so that one day, I mean, at the minute they're going for £350 on eBay each. And, you know, so if eventually they will be worth something significant.
Oh, yeah,
so
absolutely.
just something for Penny. I haven't got much
And
to
what
give
a great
her.
heirloom. You know, what a great heirloom.
Yeah.
You should really be proud of yourself, Emma. That's an absolutely amazing thing to get for through your job, for the work that you've done, and for your daughter to be able to look back in coming years and say, you know what, that's my mum achieved that. You know, it's brilliant. I think it's a great heirloom. I think it's brilliant.
Thank
Well
you.
done, Emma.
I don't think I'll be here for the next one, to be honest. But
what's the next one? You've got platinum.
10
I don't
years
think the Queen will
time.
be here either. Sorry to burst everyone's bubble in chat, but I don't think the Queen's going to be here for that one either, Em.
No. As well as they look after her, I'm sure she's not. But to be honest, I'm not a massive Queen fan or the royal family. And I know people from different countries look in on it and they're like, wow, the Queen and everything. But when you actually live here and you know how much tax they take off you for everything and the way that they all live off the state, it really does knock me a little bit.
I mean, not just our state either. I mean, there's other countries around the world paying for her as well. I mean, she's apparently the Queen in Canada as well, or something to do with they love her in Canada because she's like their monarch as well. And I'm like, well, you pay for it then. We'll send her to live in Canada.
Yeah, you can have her.
Right, exactly. I'll put her in a box of cornflakes and like ship her over on FedEx or something. She's free to a good home.
What was that comment? I'm just looking. Somebody's made a comment here about Penny, and it just reminded me. It's Jo, and she says Penny will love them. But it just reminded me of that comment I got recently that somebody put, and it was to do with living. You remember it because you sent it to me. It was something to do with Penny and me living together.
Oh, that wasn't that Dr. Bebo something, Dr. Bebo Cherry or something like that, who left a comment and said, I never understand how British people are so involved in American true crime, and the weirdest thing ever is that Penny lives with Emma.
And I can't understand it. Why would she do that?
I can't understand how Penny lives with Emma. And I'm like literally the face palm that went on at that point in my head. I slapped my face.
I was living with true crime commentary, is it? And I'm like, as much as I love her, I'm not living with her. I'm living with my daughter, Penny. But thanks for asking. Anyway.
Thank you for the super sticker, Connemara.
Oh, thank you. So kind. Connemara. Heather, thank you. So we've got a lot of us creators, not all of us, but I've noticed quite a few have got this super what did they call it? I can't remember. Super thanks or
thank you
something.
Sticker or super thanks, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think you can give it on a live, but like when you are watching a replay, it like comes up under the video that you can like, which I thought was nice actually, because you know, if you've missed a live or something, it is nice for that.
I saw that. See, the thing is, it's really weird that it's just happened, like to quite a few people, because
Cher got it.
When I first started watching YouTube, June or July time last year, there was one particular creator who is still around, but had a super thanks under all of their things, and I never saw it on anybody else's channel, only on this one particular channel. And I've never seen it anywhere else. And then all of a sudden, you and Cher and a few other people have all got it added under your videos. And I'm kind of wondering whether it's a new thing or whether it's just been around for ages, but you have to qualify for it. I don't quite know how people get it, but yeah, it's a good thing.
I think you have to qualify it for it. And when you rate your videos, if you rate it as okay for adverts and it turns out it's not, you get like a mark against you. It goes yellow and you get a little mark against you and it tells you that you've not rated the videos correctly. If you rate all your videos correctly over the space of however many months, then they give you this super thanks thing option. But I've noticed a few that haven't got it yet. So I've got a few things that I've written down here that I was wanting to talk about. Let's have a look. So where are we? Also, but before we go any further, I reached out to a few different people on Instagram regarding cadaver dogs, because I thought it would be really interesting for us to be able to ask some questions that we've all maybe had in our mind to do with the Summer Wells case, in regards to, if she was behind a wall, would the cadaver dogs be able to smell? If she was underground, how far down would they be able? And it's an awful thought. We don't want to imagine her in any of those situations. But I think, given the length of time that she's been missing, the things we've seen from her parents and the people that have come forward, I think most of us think that, you know, and I do personally, whether, you know, people like it or not, it's my own opinion. I don't think she's here with us anymore. So I reached out to these cadaver dog experts and I wanted to ask a few questions. Well, this really nice guy called Chuck, who lives in America, he's got a cadaver dog and he's a sheriff. And he basically said that he would, I'm not going to say which county and that he lives in particularly, because he said that he will talk to me behind the scenes. If he wanted to come on panel, they'd be limited to what he could say, and because it's an ongoing investigation, and obviously he's not involved in that, not living in that area, but he did say that he would speak to us regarding the dogs, and if we've all got comments that we would be really interested in having answered in regards to the Summer Wells case, if we drop them under the community post that I put on today regarding the cadaver dogs, then put them in there and I will make sure I ask him all of them, because we need to know as much as we can about the dogs and what the situation is when they arrive on scene, you know, whatever it is you can think of or you've had questions about, just put it in the community post.
I do have a question. And it's something that I've read quite a lot in comments, especially recently. I don't know, it kind of went around at the beginning, I'm pretty sure, and then it's sort of resurfaced since. And that's about the cemeteries nearby the wells. Now, there's a pet cemetery and there's the Wells Cemetery and different cemeteries around there. And a lot of people are saying comments like, well, they buried her in the pet cemetery, or they buried her in the, you know, person cemetery, whatever it's called. And then other people saying, well, their dogs would have found them when they searched there, blah, blah, blah. My question is, would cadaver dogs be able to actually find a scent in a cemetery, considering
tell the difference?
Right, exactly. They're trained to smell deceased persons, and the cemetery would be full of deceased persons. So would they really take cadaver dogs to scent in a cemetery? If you could ask him that, that would be really interesting.
Yeah, pop it in the community section under the post. But I'll try and remember. There's been quite a few questions already, but you know, not enough. I want to have a load to ask him. Oh, thank you, Purple Butterfly. That's really kind. He says, thanks for all you do. Thank you for just being here and being supportive. You're always here and we do appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, so lots of things that we could ask. I mean, they do give the dogs this item of clothing, or they take something, don't they, that smells like them. So the scent they're looking for is usually the scent of that particular child.
Well, I don't know. That might actually be worth clarifying, though, Emma, because I think cadaver dogs and scent dogs are different types of they have different types of training. So like one type of training is that the dog is trained to smell deceased bodies. Another type of dog will be trained in the scent of the smell that they're given to find. So an item of clothing, that would be a completely different type of dog. So it would be interesting to know what the differences are, even between like cadaver dogs and other types of scent dogs and things like that. So perhaps that's another thing that you could ask to clarify, because I don't think all cadaver dogs have the same. All cadaver dogs have the same training, but are cadaver dogs the same as scent dogs, or the same as other types of dogs? Like, does that make sense?
You know, yeah, that does make sense. It's a good question, because obviously in a cemetery there's a lot going on in regards to scent for dogs, isn't there? And I mean, tell you what,
dogs
though,
would be designed to smell the scent of death, I guess, but other dogs would be trained. There was different types of search dogs brought in. You'll have the search and rescue dogs like Lassie, you know, if you remember Lassie, the older TV program, and you'll have like the dogs that are designed to remember the smell of an item of clothing, for example. Those types of dogs will search for a living person. But cadaver dogs, I think, and I'd have to ask you to clarify it with him, would be dogs that were designed to smell out a corpse, like a deceased body. So the difference between those dogs is actually quite important to clarify, I think.
Yeah.
Every dog will be trained to do the same thing.
And obviously this guy, the sheriff, is not, he seems really nice, and I've kind of bonded over the fact that I'm a paramedic, and we do have quite a close relationship, do ambulance and police, because quite a lot of the jobs we go on, they're there, so we usually have quite a good rapport, not so much with the fire service, but definitely with the police. So that's kind of helped to, you know, be able to chat with him and him to understand that I understand how it works in regards to the services. But he seems really nice, really open, really willing to chat. So as many questions as we can find for him, so that, you know, I'm not on the phone for like 1 minute, you know. But that would be good.
Hi, have you got a dog? Yeah, I've got a dog. It's a brown one.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Thanks so much. Bye.
Yeah. Hi. Thanks for that. Yeah. Nice to meet you. Say bye to your brown dog.
It's really interesting because people must have questions about it. I mean, like, people are bound to have questions about it. Yeah, Lassie. It's always someone fell down the well with Lassie or something, isn't it? That's pretty much always the storyline.
But yeah, we'll have to do it behind the scenes, just because it is an open investigation, and if he is discussing things to do with a case, an open case, he could get into trouble because he actually doesn't really know the case because he's not in that area. So, you know.
We better just to maybe ask generalized questions then about cadaver dogs. I think Candace is just saying in chat there's live scent dogs, cadaver dogs, blood scent. So I guess it's like the difference between them would be an interesting thing to find out, because we know what we could expect from one type of dog or another in terms of the search for Summer. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the search for Summer. He doesn't necessarily know anything about that, but he does know how dogs work and how they are trained and stuff. So that would be interesting to bring in terms of the case.
Definitely. So if anybody's got any questions, please go across to the community page of my channel, see the comment that I made earlier on, and, you know, just leave a comment under there and I will get to it and ask him. So the next thing I want to bring to you is this. It's not a particularly nice photo to look at, but it's something that I did post earlier on. Go back to the comments and we'll just remove that comment in a minute. Oh, what's going on here? Can you hear me, Kat?
I can hear you, yeah.
Yeah, my comments have disappeared off the screen. Don't quite know what's happening there.
You've got a comment on the screen, on the picture on the screen, but you cannot see them in the
just
comments.
not loading my comments. So if there's anything I need to, maybe they'll come back in a minute. Maybe it's signal. So I was just going to remove this comment off the screen, but I can't because I can't get to my comments. Anyway, so this is a photo of Summer in the car. This has not been doctored. There's been no shading added or any of that crap. I'm not into that rubbish. So it's literally the video that was playing. I've screenshotted part of it, like paused it and screenshotted it and then zoomed in. That's literally.
Oh, I think Emma's just probably been kicked off the stream. I don't know if you guys can still hear me, because I can't see myself on the screen because the picture's on the screen. So hopefully Emma will come back in a second. Gemins, are they offering a reward? There is a reward fund for Summer's case. It's been quite well publicised, and I think some YouTubers have done some work to add to the reward fund in the past. So yeah, there is a reward fund. Oh, Jakey, thank you. I'm glad you can hear me. I'm sure Emma will be coming back. I don't know whether she's lost signal or something.
Yeah.
There she is. She's back. Hi, Em. Welcome back.
Right. So if I just get this photo off the screen. Yeah, I think I could tell it was deciding to disappear. Penny's downstairs and she's got every iPad and everything. She's talking on one, you know, she's just using all the internet. Right then. So anyway, looking at this photo, so I had many questions. I basically had said in a community, I can't even speak. I've got an ulcer again. I think I've got a sharp tooth, and it just means I sound like I've got a lisp every 5 seconds. Right. Wow. So I posted this earlier on, and I did say, you know, I'm sorry if people don't agree, but I'm almost certain that Summer sustained some kind of injury before she came up missing. Don't know when, whether it was down at the waterhole or where. Having said that, looking at this picture, it's not purple, so I don't think it happened the day before, but I certainly think it looks like it happened within maybe a 4 to 6 hour period before this video was taken, because you can see the bruising, but you can also see a darker area, and that darker area would take a few hours to come out. So I don't think that injury, on my personal opinion, happened at that waterhole, looking back at this photo now, because for that bruising to come out like that would have taken a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And so I got various comments, and somebody asked me what I thought was going on there. And I've got a lady in the chat here. She says, I'm an RN, and I agree 100%. So I think it was her that had maybe commented earlier on, and I was talking to her and somebody else, and I was asked what I thought about it. And my opinion was, I felt that it was a temporal lobe. So your temporal part of your kind of forehead and temporal lobe injury that was at least 4 to 6 hours old, resulting in maybe some kind of brain trauma or a subarachnoid bleed, which is a bleed in the brain. Maybe then loss of consciousness, possible flexion, which is when she moved, because if you've got a brain injury that's significant, you can flex or extend your arms or legs. And also maybe the vomiting or nausea that they kind of made out she was sick, she wasn't well, was the part of the initial concussion that from the head injury. And then somebody was asking me about fingers, and to that I did say that in regards to the purple fingers, I said when your body starts to shut down and blood starts to make its way back to your core in order to try and keep your most vital organs alive. And this then in turn leads to your fingers, your arms, your legs becoming white and feeling cold. These will then, just before death, start to turn purple, your nail beds, from lack of oxygen and blood to that area. And the last part of the body to turn purple would be lips and face, from lack of oxygen. So that was kind of what we were talking about earlier on in the comment section. I don't know if everybody that has any medical background agrees with me there. I mean, I've seen obviously a lot of injuries over the last 20 years, and I can tell when a bruise, how long a bruise has possibly been there for, given what the situation is. Obviously no, forensic investigator or what was I going to say? Yeah. But I mean, if anybody has any knowledge of that kind of thing, let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think, Kat?
Sadly, I think it's just one of many photos of Summer that's got bruising on her face and her head and her eyes and her body. And
yep.
You know, some people have tried to explain that away by saying, well, they're kids, they play outside, you know, they play rough, they rough house, all of that kind of stuff. Sure, I have bruises all up my legs when I was a kid. My nan used to say I had boys' legs because I was covered in bruising. But bruising on the head is never really a good thing. I mean, you know, kids bump their heads all the time. Yeah. But it's not, you know, you should be actually getting medical attention in those cases. I mean, quite possible that she had a concussion or anything. It's just, you know, without medical attention, it probably would have been quite impossible to tell if she had any injuries, internal injuries or anything.
And that's the thing.
I don't know how she came across these bruises and how they actually happened. I have my suspicions, but I just kind of wonder, was this is this a pattern or sustained kind of thing, that she was constantly being hurt. I don't know.
That's the problem we have here. If this little girl was from if this little girl was from a home where she'd been really well looked after and had never really had a bruise,
right?
We could say, wow, look at this, what the hell's going on? But because, like you say, she seemed to be covered in, she was playing outside, don't know what went on with her brothers and whether, they were fighting or scrapping or whatever they do. But she was playing outside, and people do get injuries. But having said that, she did get a lot of bruises, so it's difficult to tell really whether this was anything significant or not. But I think given the fact that she went missing not long after this, you would start to consider the options that it could be related in some way.
Right, and ultimately, majority of people I know whose kids have fallen and bumped their heads and got bruising on their head, even if, they feel like they're being a bit of a hypochondriac or whatever, they take them to get them checked out, because it is near a vital organ of your body. To get a bruise on your head can be dangerous, and I just wonder whether she got any medical attention. I doubt it, but
No, I doubt it. Yeah.
That's part of the whole thing, isn't it? It's part of the whole reason, possibly, why she's not here or around anymore, because she was neglected to that extent. So,
yeah. Well, I certainly don't think anybody ran up that hill, grabbed her, and ran back down again. Do you?
No, and I don't think the law enforcement believe that either.
No,
they've never ever said that. In fact, they quite often say that there's no evidence of an abduction. There's no evidence, especially of a random abduction at all. So, no, I don't believe that.
So, the other thing I wanted to mention was that day, Hunter. Let's start with this message. This message was left on Facebook at the time. It was literally the day after she went missing. And I can't even remember who it was that left it, to be honest, but I seem to remember it was somebody significant to the case. It was like one of the friends of the family of, I think it was Hunter's family. And it reads, where are we? So it says, and she told his mum, Candace told his mum when she dropped him off, she was asleep. And she told his mum when she dropped him off that she was asleep. So I'm guessing she means Summer. We do not know if she was alive and well at that point. But Hunter told the TBI Saturday night that when they were swimming, she had gone underwater close to 1 minute. So bearing in mind, this is the day after Summer went missing. She was underwater for 1 minute. So this seems to have got a smaller amount of time the longer this situation has gone on, because if you remember the interview with Chris McDonough, he said, oh, it's just so many seconds, and then Ali has been live and she was like, 10 seconds, and then somebody else said, I don't even think she went underwater at all. And it's like, well, wait a minute, why would somebody say this the day after Summer went missing if it wasn't true? Like, where would you get that from?
But then the time getting shorter and shorter has happened across the board in the case, because originally Candace told the when she spoke on the WJHL news that there was 10 minutes of time, and now it's 2 minutes of time. And then she was underwater for 1 minute, then she was underwater for 20 seconds, and then she was underwater for a few seconds, then she didn't go underwater at all. It's kind of like, I think it's part of the narrative that these stories have changed. In terms of who's telling the stories to whom, and how they're then relaying the information. If it had been 10 minutes that Candace was away and had gone for a walk, as she told the first responders, so when the dispatch call was released, they said that Candace had been gone for a walk for 10 minutes. Yeah, and when she came back, Summer was gone. And then Candace is telling us that it was 2 minutes. So in this story that's on the screen now, Summer went underwater for a minute. But by the time Hunter spoke to Chris McDonough, it was 20 seconds or maybe even less. He couldn't really remember because none of them can do time. So it's kind of like, who told the story to who and how did they relay it? And how has it been relayed since?
And is anybody being threatened to say something else? You know?
Well, I mean, that wouldn't surprise me either, to be fair.
I mean, she turned up the day after, didn't she? She asked him
Obfuscating. Oh
what
my
had been
goodness, look at
said.
this word in the chat, Emma. Obfuscating the truth. Maridethi
I
Deal
like
says
that.
obfuscating the truth. I love that word. I'm going to use that in a sentence tomorrow. Guarantee you. Thank you.
What's this question here? I don't understand. I have a question. I keep hearing PG on these chats. Who is this person? Oh, what? Who is PG? Or she's another content creator. She has her own channel, and she talks about summer as well. I think she's on most nights. So getting back to this one here, close to a minute, and he went in to grab her out. She was alert, and they placed, I don't like that word, placed her in the car. She's got legs, she's 5, she can walk, but they placed her in the car. It could just be something she's just put without thinking, or it could be that they did actually have to carry her to the car, which is, if they did, that's slightly concerning. I don't know. What do you think, Kat?
Well, there's a difference between placing a child in the car and allowing a child to get in the car of their own accord. Yeah. Again, it kind of seems to be someone that's relayed this story to the person who's then posting it on Facebook has said, we put her in the car, and then that's possibly changed to they placed her in the car. You know what? It's just a terminology. Then it's kind of like Chinese whispers or something when something gets changed, the more often it's repeated, kind of thing. It loses something. So perhaps they said, whoever told her this said, we put her in the car, or she was in the car, and this person's then put the word placed. Maybe that makes it sound a little bit.
I think the thing with this whole message that I'm reading right now, and I know what you're saying about the fact that things get changed over time. I think the whole thing that concerns me with this is the fact that this was literally the day after Summer went missing. So at that point, it hasn't had chance for the story to change or to be made up in any way, or for Chinese whispers.
It hasn't, but we don't know who relayed the story to whoever posted this post. It wasn't posted by Candice. It wasn't posted by Don. It wasn't even posted by Ali. So it's no one that was directly involved on that day. So even if they told them the story later that evening and then this person posted it the next day, it's still not direct information. It's almost still third-hand information in that respect, I guess.
You're always the voice of reason, Kat. That's why I like having you on.
No, I just, you know, I'm just trying to sort of think whether if I read this, if I read, like, as I'm reading it today, because I'm not entirely sure that I've seen this message before, I'm thinking, well, if someone told me about an event that happened in their life yesterday, and then I was writing about it on Facebook, I possibly would use words that they didn't use, like placed, or I don't know what this means, but the drive home was a dog for him. I mean, did someone say to that, whoever told them that, did they say, oh yeah, that drive home for Hunter was a dog for him? And then that person wrote that. It just doesn't seem to be the kind of thing that people say in a normal conversation.
Everybody says something different. I mean, over here in Yorkshire, we say, oh, that person was really pissed last night. And pissed means drunk. So it might mean angry in some places, but it means pissed means drunk. Or paralytic, meaning, you know, drunk. So everybody uses different words, and this could just be the wording of the person, of what she usually says. But she did say that she was alert when they placed her in the car, but the drive home was a dog for him due to the alcohol. Now, this was the day after, so it hasn't had a chance to change. So I'm guessing this wouldn't be added if it wasn't true. So I think we all know that she supplied him with some kind of alcohol. I don't believe the 1 can situation that she bought for her mother. I'm doing the air brackets here, abbreviations here. I don't know about you, but I think that bit wouldn't have even been there if it wasn't true. So I think he was drunk, and I think he'd had more than one. And we've seen the video, the man that, or the woman, I can't remember who it was, that went down to the waterhole the day after and videoed, and we saw all the cans that they hadn't been bothered to pick up. Somebody had put them in a black bag. So it was obviously more than one, unless everybody that goes to that waterhole drinks twisted tea, you know. Just saying. What do you think about that?
I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that Candace gave Hunter alcohol that day. And the reason why I think that is mostly because when asked about it, Ali refused to kind of go there or comment on it. And at the time, I remember thinking, why wouldn't you be really angry that the person that took your son out that day,
Yep,
your 15-year-old son, was giving him alcohol? And the only reason I could think that you wouldn't be angry about that, or that you wouldn't pick up on it, would be if you allowed your son to be under the same kind of influences at home and didn't want to get in trouble for it. So you didn't want to be a hypocrite and be like, well, how dare she give him alcohol? Because you know that he drinks it at home, for example.
Well, we've already heard from the neighbours that he's in charge of the house.
That's what I was just about to say. When the neighbours came on, they pretty much confirmed that that was the case, and that he's allowed to, you know, smoke weed and drink alcohol and all the kind of things that we kind of suspected. So I'm pretty sure that he probably was under the influence of alcohol. How drunk he was is a different story, but I'm convinced that she did give him alcohol on that trip. Yes, I am. That is my opinion. But yeah, I agree with you.
Hi, Ziggy V. Thank you for coming in. We've got Ziggy Valero in the chat. Hi, Ziggy.
Hi, Ziggy. We have to differentiate Ziggy V from Ziggy.
Ziggy V, for anybody who doesn't know, is the lady that also spoke to Grandis. I think I spoke to her in the August. I think she might have been speaking to her at a similar time, or just after. I'm not quite sure, but she took some notes, and the TBI are aware of it also. That's a good bit of evidence to put with anything else they've got, if they've got anything else. So, gosh, I keep clearing my throat. So where are we? Due to the alcohol, there is possibly that secondary drowning. So this is where they're assuming here. This is where they're just doing some assuming. Could it be possibly drowning? We've already heard Ali going on about the secondary drowning, you know, and it could be true, but I think that's where it all started. You know, people could have made their own minds up about it, but very early on, it was kind of thrust into the forefront that could be what happened to her.
Yeah, it was interesting because we didn't really hear anything about that until the Chris McDonough interview, where Hunter suddenly came out with it, and it was kind of like, well, how do you know about what do you know about secondary drowning? It's a really, really, really rare thing. So for Hunter to come out with it, someone had to have put that idea into his mind in the first place. There was no way he thought of that. No way.
No, I agree. Hi, Ray Sean. Haven't seen you for ages. Thank you for coming in. And then it says, where is it? Played a part and Mum panicked. And when Hunter's grandma Sherry asked TBI if it was a possibility with having her been under the water, I think they said it could be, you know, like basically if that's what happened, but they didn't really want to assume. So let's get that off the screen. I've seen Vet Girl in here somewhere, but I can't see a comment now.
Yes, that is Chip contributing to the conversation. If you can hear him purring, I'm sorry, he sounds like a motor machine.
Thanks,
he's really
Chip.
He's come to say hi. He's like literally trying to lay on the laptop right now. Come on, you had your day in the sun, mate. You crack on over there, please.
So the other thing I wanted to mention was that Hunter, he got drunk, didn't he? And what I want to know is, why didn't they go to this water park? That's what they went for. They didn't go swimming. I was told that they were supposed to be going to the water park. He even mentioned it on Chris McDonough. They were supposed to be going to this water park, which I tried to get a photo of earlier, but then we kind of lost time before we came live. This water park that they were supposed to be going to, and they never went. So why didn't they go? And was that because Summer was ill? Doing my air brackets again. Or was it because Hunter was drunk? One of the two.
Well, it's not even just one of the two, because didn't Hunter say when Chris McDonough went for the interview that they were going to go fishing? They were meant to be going fishing.
He mentioned a water park as well.
He did. He mentioned a water park. He mentioned that Candace said, do they want to go fishing? And then he said that they ended up at this swimming hole. Well, They couldn't have done those 3 things in one day and picked her mum up from the A&E and went to the hippie house and went to Sonic and went to the supermarket and went to all these other places. One of those
Leslie
stories doesn't
assumed,
make sense. They were even never going to go to the swimming hole. They were never going to go fishing, or they were never going to go to the water park. Like, there were at least 3 options that day that got spoke about by Hunter and by Candice and by Ali.
yeah. Oh, thank you. Just looking at that comment.
Another possibility altogether, and that is that oh wow, Vet Girl, thank you so much. That's so kind of you.
Oh,
Really
thank
charming.
you, Vet Girl. We really appreciate you. Thank you for all you do for this wonderful little girl. And thank you for all you do for just being here and supporting the channel, Vet Girl. Thank you. Just watching, subscribing. It means a lot. Thank you very much.
Imagine from what we know about, what we've discovered and what we've been told and everything else, imagine Candice wanted to be in a more secluded place with Hunter for her own nefarious reasons. Going to a water park isn't a great idea on a hot day when there's going to be, if you think about, I don't know, a Lido or an outdoor water park or somewhere like nearby you. I know here that would never be quiet on a summer's day. There would be kids everywhere, adults everywhere. Where they actually went to was much more secluded and could possibly be for that reason that they didn't go to a water park that day, because it would have been too busy. And perhaps that was the whole idea of going somewhere more quiet.
Yeah. There's a comment here that says Hunter getting married, question mark, question mark, question mark. Now, since then, I saw the dad on his channel. I'm doing the air brackets again. It's going to be an air bracket night.
For the word dad, yeah.
Yeah. And he said that he is not getting married. Right. But then I also got a comment which I found interesting when I'd actually posted that initially. And it did say that a while ago, I don't know if it was a year or so ago, it was a thing, like they do certain things on TikToks, kids, where they photograph themselves, sort of doing certain things, and they all pick up on it.
This too. Yeah.
And apparently it was a thing for them all to pretend to propose to each other and take a photo. Now, also looking at that photo of him doing that, where he's down on one knee, you'll notice his hair is short, and right now he's got dreadlocks. So that photo can't be from now. So I think when it was put out on PG's channel, I think it was in order to try and catch us to maybe look stupid or to put it out there. Why they'd want to do that, I don't know. Maybe just to kind of wind us up, really. But you wouldn't do that, would you? You wouldn't give those photos out. I mean, I do find it funny that Ali seems to have suddenly disappeared off the internet since the neighbours came out and told the truth about the fact that she never went to the truck.
Well,
since all that came out.
She's been about a bit on another channel, but not as much recently, I guess. But I don't know. I think the whole TikTok thing is a bit of an anomaly. It's another kind of red herring, and I think sometimes people put these things out just so that it creates drama. To be honest, I can't see any other reason for doing that. To be honest.
But why you'd want to make any more rubbish up?
I've already said I'm taking a whole step back from this kind of thing. It's for exactly this reason that I'm taking a step back from it, because it encourages discussion that doesn't need to happen. It encourages arguments that don't need to happen. It encourages people to fall out with each other and fight with each other about something they know nothing about. They know nothing more about than the next person. That's not, I just can't deal with it. I really can't.
Well, we'll move on.
Not good. Yeah.
So Hunter said in an interview with Chris McDonough, I blocked her because all this stuff is going on, meaning I blocked Candice because all this stuff is going on. Now, if he's a friend of the family and, he got on so well with Candice and, why would he block her because her child was missing? Doesn't really make any sense. Unless something had happened that day and he felt threatened, upset, you know, something had happened. Because why would he say that? I blocked her because all of this stuff going on. That's what he said to Chris.
We've discussed this before. I don't know. I think we have actually discussed it on the stream, and there is someone in chat that if anyone wants to time them out, that would be grand. We've talked about this before about what, you know, possibly was happening, what Candace was doing to Hunter, let's just put it that way. And perhaps he didn't, you know, there was a conversation that happened where he said to Chris McDonough that he looked at Candace's phone and he got into her gallery and he saw pictures and messages, whatever, text messages. Now, to me, I kind of feel like perhaps that was him having a look at her phone to see if any of the photos that she told him to send her were on her phone. And perhaps that was what was going on, why he blocked her. Because she put pressure on him. She went, thank you, Candace. She went over to the house the day after or a couple of days after to find out what he'd said to the TBI. Now, if that is a part of this case, that Candace was being completely inappropriate with Hunter, then perhaps that's what was going on. And that's why he needed to block her, because he didn't want her turning up there and saying how he should be, what he should be saying and everything else. That's because that's part of the cycle that was perhaps occurring with them, you know?
Yeah.
So perhaps that's why he blocked her. That was my thoughts about it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? It's like you don't know what to believe, do you really? I don't know. Obviously, we don't know what happened. And maybe it is that when he went through her phone, he found something.
Right.
I mean, we've heard all sorts. We've heard the fact that he came home and he was drunk. We've heard the fact that he came home and he was in a state, you know.
And we've heard that there was inappropriate stuff going on.
Yeah. And why hasn't she been arrested for that? If they haven't arrested her yet for her own daughter going missing, which maybe they need more evidence about, how much more evidence do you need to arrest her for child welfare situation to do with hate? You know, she supplied him with
her own kids, you know, even to do with her own kids, because there ain't no way that she won't be protecting her own kids.
As far as I'm aware, she's lost custody.
She lost custody when the kids got taken away in July. She lost custody then.
Yeah.
She hasn't signed over her rights to the kids, and she hasn't been found guilty or anything, and to a point where they'll take her kids away forever and never return them either. So she lost custody back in July for the fact that they were taken away. Nothing more has happened since then with that, really.
Well,
this is the weird old photo.
So they get home. No, but just going back to what you were saying then, you're right. She did lose custody of them when they got taken. But I mean, full custody of ever having them back, shall we say. I heard that she'd lost custody recently and she didn't even turn up to court. I mean, another hearsay. Who knows? Maybe she did. Or maybe she didn't and she received a letter in the post. Who knows? We don't really know. It's just hearsay again. It's just what I heard. So I thought I'd bring that to you. But then there's this photo, which has bothered me for quite a long time. And this photo, to me, it's a very slim Summer. Could that be a younger photo that she's posted online in order to try and make it look like Summer was actually there because of the time that it was posted? Would make people think that she posted it literally as Summer went missing. But I thought she was outside planting flowers. She was outside planting flowers. She said she came in and realized Summer wasn't missing. She never mentioned that they were all stood in the kitchen together at any point.
Still so much time missing out of this timeline as well.
Yes.
You know, different stories that we've heard about what Grandis did when she got home. She went to lay down. Candace left the property twice. There was the time between 3:30 and this photo at 6:06 p.m. where they apparently planted some flowers and Candace went and changed her mother's knee brace, did some laundry, other random things that in my opinion, never happened. And
Yeah.
yet her daughter is reported missing at 6:30, and at 6:06 she's posting a picture of her boy with Summer in the corner of the photo. It doesn't exactly scream, we were busy planting flowers, we were, you know, you can't fill up that time.
No.
This photo, to me, was posted as another attempt to confuse the whole timeline and the whole day. It was posted as an alibi, almost like an alibi photo, but to me, it doesn't ring true that it was taken on that day.
No.
It was
And
uploaded
I think
at
when
that
she
time.
was younger, I think that was like when she was about
Right.
4. I think she looks, if you can imagine where her shoulder would be, she's
Right.
very small there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree,
And
Susan.
also, what did Susan say? Old picture.
Susan
Yeah, I think it was an
says,
old picture, but I think it was posted at that time for a reason.
yeah.
It's an old picture. But if you think about, if you're trying to create a timeline for something that's already happened, say, for example, Summer was already missing by this point, something had already happened to Summer by 6:06. But instead of, because they weren't going to report her missing until 6:30, she's trying to fill the timeline with things that could confuse the investigation. And to be honest, that's one of the things that's been running throughout this case. Her parents, in my opinion, have done nothing but confuse the investigation since day one.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Holly Golightly says, the lady on the panel is smart.
Thank
You're
you. That's very
smart, Kat.
kind. Thank you. Please do go and subscribe to my channel. That would be awesome.
I'm kind of feeling a little bit left out here, but I'm fine.
Oh,
I'm
you're
fine
smart
with
too, Emma.
unsmart. That's fine. That's
Maybe
fine.
she meant you. Yeah, maybe she didn't mean me, Emma. I think she meant you.
Yeah, I think she meant you.
Oh, thank you. We're both
You're
smart.
definitely smart. I'm good at writing and it sounds amazing, but when I talk out loud, it's like I can't get my words out. So
You get
it's
your words
probably
out
you.
just fine. You're very articulate. Don't run yourself down, Emma. Seriously, there's lots of people in here that think you're amazing. So, and I'm one of them.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. So I heard on a stream recently, not me mentioning any names, that Candace had said, I'm done. You know, she basically made out that she wasn't interested in getting the boys back. She was like, I'm just done. I'm done with everything. It's like she's given up, you know.
She gave up
Don's
on day one. She gave up on at the point. Sorry, I'm going to rant for a bit, but she gave up at the. I'm not
Go
even
ahead.
joking. She gave up at the point when the police turned up to ask them about what happened to their daughter on June 15th. Because you know that Grandis and Don were outside talking to the police. And where was Candace? Inside on her phone, talking to Ali on FaceTime, trying on hats. And Ali was like, are you speaking to the police? No, I don't want to speak to them. I want to speak to them. She was done. She was done that day. And their attitude, and not just her, but Don as well, their attitude since day one has been, we'll see her in the resurrection. You know, no, she must have just got abducted. You know, someone come up here and took her, and that's fine. I'm going to, you know, get off my face drunk and have a fight with my husband and ring CPS and ring, sorry, not CPS. Right, exactly. Let's go on YouTube and make a fake documentary about how we love our church, but we'll wait to the end and then we'll say we love our church. I mean, the whole thing they've been done since day one. They have never been, they've never had go. They've always been done. So for Candace to say she's done now, I mean, what's new, Candace? Did you get off your ass and search for your daughter day one? No, you didn't. Day two? No, you didn't. When they came to search for your daughter the last time, a couple of months ago, when everybody was making videos about the new search for your daughter, what were you doing? Playing Monopoly.
God.
So you know what, Candace? You're done. Well, I'm done with you. How about that? How about that? Sorry, everyone.
We do like a good cat rant. If anybody likes listening to Kat, go across to her channel at Cat Chats Crime and Coffee. It's very intelligent over there. She's, you know, she knows what she's talking about.
Thank you. Sometimes.
Oh God. But yeah, she hasn't really done a lot from the beginning, has she?
She's done nothing, Emma. She's done nothing. Seriously. Hi, Brillis. Brillis in chat. Hey, Brillis. Hey, Emma, you still there?
Bullis is here. Hi, Bullis. The boyfriend is in the chat. Wait, it's like we have a child shouting in the background.
Oh, sorry, I can just see this comment by Mary Deathy Deals says, so drunk she did not realise Monopoly isn't a one-person game.
Yeah, who was she playing with? Bulla says, hi, Kat.
Hey, Bullas.
It shocks me that there are still people that actually support this family.
Right.
It shocks me with the things we've seen, the things we've heard. And we're not talking just hearsay. We're talking about things that have actually come out of the mouths of these people, as in we will see her in the resurrection and things like that, you know. It's concerning.
Yeah. Their behaviour has never been, in my opinion, their behaviour has never been that of innocent people, because innocent people don't need to cause the trouble and drama and lies and all of the rest of it. They don't need to change their timelines. They don't need to change their stories, because the truth is a constant and it never changes. So the fact that they have to think on their feet, they can't think beyond their given planting flowers bullshit story, means to me that they're lying and that they can't be trusted. And, you know, to me, I don't understand. I wouldn't give them a penny. I wouldn't give them my last penny if they were the last people on earth. I really wouldn't. They don't deserve it.
Spent so much money. It's concerning, really. I mean, there are people, if you want to support the family, that's, you know, it's complete. Everybody has their own choice in life. But after everything like we've seen and heard, I just find it difficult to understand how there can be anybody left that does support the family. I don't know.
So Loving Malta just said, if they were searching for my child, I would at least be bringing drinks, etc., if I wasn't allowed to search. So I just want to make a quick comment on that, because that's really interesting. We had I was on another channel the other day. I wasn't on the panel, but I was in the chat room, and there was somebody on the panel that was actually a local and had been involved in the original search for Summer. So they were working at the church where the donations were being brought for the emergency service workers. So all the people that were searching, all the teams of people out, they were providing them with refreshments, were bringing food. And Candace and Grandis, according to this person who was on the panel in the chat I was in, turned up and were asking for food that was meant for, yes, at the church. They turned up and they wanted the food. They wanted donations from that that was being bought for the emergency service workers. They wanted in on that. They wanted a part of that. It made me so angry when I heard that, because that exactly.
But they've not helped. They've not helped search.
They didn't contribute anything. They didn't contribute anything. They just turned up for the handouts.
They've not donated to EquiSearch or anything, probably.
They haven't got off their backsides and gone out of their front door and searched a minute. Not a minute. Candace doesn't go walking around there because she's scared of the bears and the snakes and and whatever else is out there. But she's, you know, wouldn't worry about her child if her child wandered off in the woods, just as long as she don't have to go out and search, right?
Yeah.
She sent her boys down to the creek after Summer had gone missing, according to her. Oh, I sent the boys down to the creek to search. So really, you think that there's an abductor out there taking your child, but you're going to send your other children down to the creek to search, right? None of this makes sense.
That's the only searching that's been done on that property, I think, besides Ellie. God. And then not only that, that's concerning that they've gone down there for food when she's just got herself off to the you know, Ryan Upchurch concert and done all sorts of other things. Yes, I think she's still got those 4,000 flyers in the back of her car, as far as I remember. They were there at the beginning. I think they'll probably still be there now. And
Joel,
yes,
she should stick them all together, make them into a blanket, because one of these days she's going to need that to sleep under. Honestly. Well, she does infuriate me. She really does. And the reason she makes me crazy, to be honest, is because of the amount of children that she's had the opportunity to care for, and she hasn't. She's failed. Every single one of her children, she has failed. So why are we going to start encouraging her to try get her boys back? Legally, she may be able to get her boys back, but morally, there is no way on God's earth that that woman deserves even 1 second of one more chance with one more child.
No.
Please.
And I mean, at the age she is, she's still possible could get pregnant again, you know?
Please.
I mean,
I mean, I just feel so sad for those children. It
Yeah.
really, really annoys me, and it really rolls me, because someone never stood a chance in that family. She never stood a chance, and yet there's people that are backing Candace to try to get those boys back. Leave the boys alone, Candace. You're done. Okay, be done with it. Seriously, be done with it, because those boys are better off without you. Yes, I did say that out loud.
It's sad to say that. It is a sad thing to say, but it's true. It's sad, but
It's true.
You know, because
Well,
those children don't know anything else.
Right, but put yourself in that situation. You're a child. You've lived in that state. You've lived with those psychopathic people for your whole life. Now you're in a place where you probably get 3 meals a day. You go to school. You're doing well at school. You're being looked after. Someone's there if you want to talk. You fall over. No one forgets about you or ignores you. Someone picks you up and helps you, you know, feel better. But someone cares about you. You really want to go back?
Love.
Right.
Yeah.
And as far as I've heard, none of those boys want to go back to her, and I don't blame them. Hey, Sherry. Hello. Nice to see you, darling.
Oh.
I wouldn't want to go back if I was one of those kids.
No, but the thing is, they will have love. Well, I mean, would they have love? It depends whether they would still love their parents. It's like if you kick a dog. Sounds awful. You kick a dog. They still want to come back to you. They still come back because they feel that love for you, even though they may have suffered some kind of abuse within that family, from the parents or from relatives, whoever. They're going to feel some sort of love and affection towards these people that did that. And although they might prefer their new life, I think that's just the way it is. It's just, there's a word for it, isn't it? What's the word?
Affiliation or some kind of connection, I guess. Like,
yeah, it's like when these kidnappers, you know, take.
There's just too many, like Stockholm syndrome type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just too many of these cases where the rights of the parents are put above the rights of the child. I mean, the right for them to parent, quite often, I'm not talking about Candace and Don necessarily, I'm just talking generally in cases where the right to be a parent outweighs the right of the children to be safe with those parents. So because they have a legal right to have their children back, if they meet XYZ criteria, the children can be returned to them. But that doesn't give the children the rights to be safe with the people that they're being returned to. And this has happened time and time again. Harmony Montgomery being another classic example of a child being given to a parent who had the right to parent, but the child didn't have the right to be safe with that parent. And I just think it's disgusting.
Yeah. I made a video, actually, a documentary recently. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. It's really, really good. It's not my voice in it. It's actually a man's voice, but I've, you know, edited it and put it all together. And it's about a girl. Well, she lives with her mum. There's 2 girls and they get taken off the mum. And it's telling you the whole situation with the CPS. And in the end, she actually gets murdered by the foster parent. It's terrible.
Wow.
But, yeah.
I mean, that kind of thing happens as well. You can't say that all children that go into foster care are going to be well looked after and well treated either. But when the actual parents have done such a rubbish job, and then the actual parents are given the children back and something happens to them, people go up in arms. Yeah, about CPS failed them, blah, 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 blah. But look at this case. There's people out there fighting for Candace, not with Candace, because Candace isn't fighting. They're fighting for Candace to get her children back. Instead of her. And so when at the point, if the boys went back and anything happened to the boys, they would then be saying CPS failed. Or what about the fact that that Candace was given the right to get the kids back? She got the kids back and something happened. It's not a CPS failure. It's a failure of all the people that supported her to get her kids back, you know?
Yeah. It's true. It is. It's so true.
You can't have it both ways.
I mean, this picture says it all, really. She's there. Will you talk about your child?
Nope.
Discuss what you've been doing? No. Okay, then. I'll write you a scrap of paper. I'll write you on a scrap of paper, a few little notes, and give it to you. But my mum will go on. You know. I don't want to speak about her, but I don't want to speak about my daughter, but later on I'll go on a live in 6 hours time on my channel, which is exactly what she did that night. She didn't want to speak to this lady. I'm not quite sure what she's called, the same lady that keeps coming up and interviewing them for the media. But she will go on a channel within 6 hours later.
Is that Anthony Daniels, I think?
Yes, Ainsley Daniels. Thank you. Thank you, Pink Phoenix. Thank you for the super sticker. It's really appreciated.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you so much. And then I'll put Mike's on the screen in a second. Mike's left just jumped. Mike's left a super chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's really, really nice of you. We do appreciate it. Thank you.
You know, the reason why she wrote that note, in my opinion, was because she wanted to get a message to Don in jail, sorry. I keep calling it prison. And I know that the American definition of the two is different to ours. So Don is actually in jail, not in prison. That was my misspeaking before I get called out across every channel on God's earth. She was writing a note to Don in jail and showing it on the news for him to recognize that she's got it all under control, in inverted commas. I'm using my air quotes now. That to me was what that note was about.
Right. I just saw it briefly.
That he would see that. She knew that he would see that in jail because he's got access to the news and stuff. And for her to hold up a note exactly saying what it said, to me wasn't a message to the news. It was a message to Don directly in jail to say, see, I'm still not talking. I'm out here and I'm still keeping my mouth shut, aren't I? In my opinion.
But with that interview, when Grandis came on, she kind of dropped a bit of a bombshell, really, because by
just
saying
but
she mentioned the sleep. Well, wait a minute, just hold up. Where was the sleep in any of the other statements that we've seen and interviews from anybody, from Candace, from Don? Nothing's been mentioned about sleep. Sorry, I'm slurring because I've got this ulcer. Nothing's been mentioned about this sleep, and suddenly she's getting interviewed and she drops a bombshell, the sleep. So now the Ziggy Valero messages that we've all heard or seen online ring true. I mean, I believed it anyway when Ziggy came forward. I know what it's like to have been called a liar when you've been talking to someone and you bring it to light. But then this sleep comes forward for the first time he's heard since Ziggy. So,
I mean, that was huge. There were so many bombshells in that one interview.
Yes.
Don't forget the other thing that Grandis said in that interview was that she wasn't at the watering hole with them when they went swimming. She wasn't there.
But what made me laugh is joining on to what you're just saying now. On the Chris McDonough interview, Candace is there looking at the flowers with Chris M, and she's like, Mum was looking at these flowers here because she really likes flowers. And then Grandis goes on live with this Ainsley Daniel, and she makes out that she never went to the waterhole. So wait a minute.
Went to the watering hole. She wasn't there. She didn't know where they went that day swimming. She said, I think it was Warriors Park. I think it was. They went. Not we went. They went. Yeah. She wasn't there.
It was all around spending time with H, as far as I can see. Anyway, that's my opinion, personal opinion, allegedly, personal opinion.
Well, exactly.
Air quotes again.
Right. Yeah, I agree, and I think that's like going back to what we were saying earlier. I think that's why they didn't go to the water park that day, because it would have been too public.
Yes.
You couldn't have given a child alcohol at a water park where there was other parents and other kids and other, things going on. But it was the perfect place to give an underage minor child alcohol in a place where no one else was around that day, right?
Yeah. There's a comment in the chat from Vibes. I'm not going to put it on the screen, but I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I agree too.
So, yes, where are we at? Let me have a look at my little notes here. Let's have a see.
Oh, Emma's got notes.
I've got notes.
Very organised.
Yes, it's actually in my phone today. I've not written it down, believe it or not.
Hillbilly holler horrors. My May said, none of these hillbilly holler horrors, I love that, would know what the truth was if it bit them on the ass. Yeah, I agree with that as well.
Right. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was the situation that people keep talking about in regards to the pharmacy and what was picked up that day, what medication. Well, obviously, I know a bit about medication, and I kind of know what sort of things get given for severe pain. And to me, that would have been either morphine, oxycodone, which I think they give out more over in America than they do here. They still do give it out here, but it is really just for people that are kind of dying from cancer and things like that. But they do give it out. It's not. No, Bulas is here. He's a doctor. Bulas. If you've got somebody with severe knee pain, and they've got, maybe they need a knee operation, a replacement, and they're in severe pain and the bone's rubbing against bone, joint on joint, what kind of painkillers are they likely to send them home with, would you say? I mean, to me, I would be thinking morphine. If you're in America, maybe oxycodone, which is kind of like the same sort of thing. Maybe cocodamol, which is
codeine and paracetamol.
Codeine and paracetamol, but you'd class it as Tylenol and codeine. But I think if I had to guess, it would be oxycodone or hydrocodone or something like that, that she was given. And that might be why, we've heard that Candace was taking these pills from grandma, because every time we see an interview, she looks effed off her face, to be honest, if you ask me.
Sorry, I'm just laughing. I've seen a comment on the chat, pillbillies.
Pillbillies. Let me put that on the screen.
Sorry,
I like
that cracked me up.
Oh, you're up with it. I didn't see that. Candace says, I'm a stage 4 larynx cancer survivor, and it's tough for me. Wow, bless you, Candace. We just love you.
Yeah, we do.
It doesn't look like Bulas is going to answer the question. Maybe he's not actually really listening to us. Bulas.
No, he was asking you what ulcer you had, because I think he thinks maybe you got stomach ulcer. You're talking about a mouth ulcer, right?
Bulas, I was talking about a mouth ulcer. I've got an ulcer. My tongue's rubbing against my tooth. I'm going to the dentist this week. And I've got an ulcer, and it's making me slur when I'm talking, like this. No, I was asking you, Bulas, what you would give medication-wise to somebody who had a severe knee pain, because their bones were like rubbing bone on bone, joint on joint, and you were sending somebody home with, good pain relief. What would you give them? So that was the question for Bulas, if he's listening.
What about gabapentin? I think Cheryl D just put gabapentin or pregabalin.
Yes, but you would have to take a lot. So you might get given, say, 100, 200 milligram, but to be ordered to, and heroin addicts do actually take pregabalin and gabapentin to try and get high. So it is a way of getting high, but you really would have to take a lot.
My cat's on gabapentin. My cat's on gabapentin. Can cat? Yeah, Tigger, he gets it because of his he's got a urine problem, like a kidney stones thing. But do cats get addicted to it then? Is it addictive?
What, pregabalin and gabapentin? Well, I take it for fibromyalgia, but I've only got a low dose. I mean, it's not to get high on. I take like 100 mils on a morning and 100 mils in an afternoon or something like that. It doesn't really have any effect on me, but it is a really low dose. It just kind of eases the nerve pain that I get. But if you really wanted to get high on that, I mean, from what I've seen from heroin users that I've had on the channel, in the ambulance, don't really have many of them on the channel, really.
No.
Yeah, you would have to take quite a few. You're looking at like nearly a full packet in order to like be completely off your face, as she seems to be in the state that I've seen her in. Bulas says we follow an analgesic ladder. Bulas, that doesn't answer the question.
What's it? An analgesic ladder? Is that like a ladder of painkillers, and then you just climb up higher and higher as you need stronger ones?
So it's like when we go to somebody's house, we're like, have you had any paracetamol? They have to have paracetamol first before they'll give them anything stronger. We start with a non-steroidal medication.
Well, this is all very technical. I never thought I'd learn anything like this tonight. Thank
It's
you.
interesting. And then we've got a lady here. She says, I'm a nurse in the US. Oh, this is good. Opiates are very restricted. I doubt that she got morphine at the hospital, and usually they advise Tylenol and ibuprofen. I mean, like if she's got joints rubbing joint on joint because she maybe needs a knee op, wouldn't they give her something stronger at that rate? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it works in the US. I know it is given out here. They don't like giving it out because people can get addicted to it. But in a bad situation, they will.
Sherry
give it out.
says, "Oh, there we go." It says, "Cat, read me," so I'll read it. Emma, mine are 300 milligrams, and take 2 to 3 times a day. Cat, read me. I read you.
They're the sort of thing, though, that I can imagine, because I took like 100 ml and it didn't really do a lot. I was feeling a lot of pain, and they said take 200 ml, and that works. That works okay, but I don't always take like the full dose. But I think if you really did want to get off your face, a heroin addict especially, anybody that was an addict, I think you'd be looking at taking like a full strip before you actually got to be in the way that she comes across and speaks. When you hear her, I mean, I think she was on a channel the other day. I'm not sure if it was her own channel. I can't really remember. And she was down by the river. She was doing some fishing, and she was just fiffing, and you're just like, what? You're doing what? Like, she's just, I don't think she realizes how paralytic, or whatever you want to call it over there, she sounds.
I heard that, and this is just hearsay, I guess. I didn't really have any knowledge or any proof of it at all, but I heard that the reason that Grandis goes to Wisconsin so often is because that's where she gets her pain relief scripts renewed.
She does have a regular thing every 6 months, doesn't she?
Yeah.
5 to 6 months.
But also, I think they, on that day, possibly gave her some kind of injection into the knee, like an injected painkiller rather than pills. So the pills were probably when the injection wore off, or to tide her over in terms of pain. But I don't think that was the main thing she was taking, because I'm pretty sure she had an injection. I'm just moving around, guys. I really need to go and get a drink out the fridge. So if you can hear movement, I'm just going to mute myself for a second. I'll be back.
Yeah, no worry. So Bulis is a doctor, and he says gabapentin is for neuropathy. So like for nerve kind of pain, help in the perception of the pain. So yeah, so that's why they give it to me, because I've got fibromyalgia, so I have all like my nerves, and they're oversensitive. So that's why I get it. So whether that would be something they would have given her, I don't think that would be what she would have. I don't think it's more of a nerve thing. I think it's more of an orthopedic thing that she's got going on there with a knee. She needs a knee replacement, as far as I'm aware. Or she did need a knee replacement at the time.
I'll tell you what, I need bloody nerve medication, because they got on every one of my bloody last nerves. Candace and Grandis. I need something for my nerves, I'm telling you.
You need an alcoholic beverage, dear.
Well, I've actually got a can of Fanta, but that will have to do for now.
Oh, Bulis, I'm being really naughty. Do you know what I'm drinking right now? I have a glass of blackcurrant, because that's all we've got in the house. I need to go shopping. I was supposed to go earlier on, but I couldn't be bothered getting up off the sofa. And I've got some vodka in it. Just a trickle, a trickle. I'm doing the air quotes again. Trickle.
A trickle. I've seen Emma trickle vodka. It doesn't quite trickle, it more pours, but we'll call it a trickle. That's fine.
Oh, when I went to visit Kat, we had this fridge in the hotel room, right?
Oh my god!
It had everything in it. Every flavor alcoholic vodka that you could possibly imagine. I mean, we're so lightweight. We were drinking like maximum of about 3 a night, but it was just nice to catch up. Bula says there's a lag between what you say and our comments. Oh,
I think
maybe I'm just not reading them quick enough.
Right, yeah, read quicker, Bula, please. I think you neglected to mention the cocktails that I was making us towards the end of the.
Oh God! So we had all these drinks left because obviously we weren't drinking enough. We were only having like 3 drinks a night. I'm just such a lightweight. So is Kat. And so it gets to the end of our trip, and we have all these drinks left. And Kat goes, "I'm going to make you a cocktail." I'm thinking, "Oh, this sounds nice. This sounds nice." Basically, she opens about 4 different flavors and pours them all into one glass and goes, "There you go." I'm like,
and I added gin and some ginger beer and some rhubarb flavour things and some wine, and it was just like
there was a foam floating on the top of it, and I was like, "Kat, what the hell is this concoction?" And she went, "Try it," and I was like,
It tasted like cough syrup. It was like cough.
That's what you said. It tasted like cough syrup, and it did. And I drank it because I was, didn't want to waste it, kind of thing.
Obviously.
It's vodka. I'll bloody waste it. Right, let me see what else I've got on my list. On the list, air quotes. Right. Wait a second.
You're loving your air quotes tonight, aren't you, Em?
The air quotes are. It's a new thing. It's a new thing. So where are we? Lost custody of the boys. Search. So what went on with Ernie? And this, I thought it was doing a good thing. You can all say what you want about all these different creators. I don't get involved in the drama, but I'm talking about Ernie for a second because he was there saying to Candace on one of these streams, "I'm going to get this search crew together. They're professional. They know what they're talking about. They've got all these. I've got these search cadaver dogs, and we're going to come to your property and we're going to do the works. We've got ground penetrating radar," or whatever it was he was saying they had, literally the works. And I thought, brilliant. This is brilliant, because you don't know what TBI did. We don't know what TBI did, but we're more likely to find out from Ernie what went on there. And she was like, nobody's searching my property. Nobody's searching my property. Nobody's
you just can't come on my property.
Nobody's coming here. This is the uppers have said you're not allowed on my property to search. Well, wait a minute, who are the uppers? Because the uppers don't own your property. You and Don own that property. Well, Don owns that property, and he's in prison. So who's the uppers? Like, does it really make a difference if somebody comes in with all these cadaver dogs and does a really good thing? They're offering to help find your bloody daughter, and she's like, "Well, nobody's stepping foot on my property. I'm just telling you." And you're like, what? That doesn't sound like her at all. But, anyway.
She hasn't finished Monopoly yet. She's still playing in the middle of a game of Monopoly. She can't let anyone come search on her property just yet.
Right, guys. Candace cannot search. She's not past go. She's not collect £200.
Just go straight to jail.
Just go straight to jail. Situation sorted. Candace is playing Monopoly. Everything's going to be good.
Right.
Straight to jail. Yeah. Bula said 50-50 is a trickle. Well, it might be in Egypt. Or when he comes to my house. Do you want a drink, Emma? Yeah, go on then. I'm like that. What's this? It's like vodka. I'm like, God, did you just pour the bottle in there?
What did you mix it with? What do you mix it with? It's vodka.
Smirnoff. Oh, I love Smirnoff vibes. That's amazing. I love Smirnoff. So, she
kind of went hand in hand with her saying that no one was allowed to bring up her daughter Summer when she was on the other channel that she was on. No one was allowed to talk about her daughter. Anyone that talked about her daughter in the chat got timed out. I mean, this is ridiculous. She only was apparently on YouTube, and so was Don, because they wanted to find their daughter.
Yeah.
And now you can't even mention her daughter without getting timed out of a YouTube stream. I mean, come on, Candice. We're done.
It's ridiculous.
Candice,
it is
done.
Yeah, that is exactly what Don said when he did an interview, and I think it was Within Media, and it was one of his latter ones before he got put in prison. And he said, we are getting all this trouble from social media. We only went onto YouTube in order to try and get help to try and find our missing daughter. You're
Yeah,
right
yeah.
about that, Kat. And then, of course, he's there going, I've got the dogs. We're ready to go. We're coming on. They're professional. We've got great ground penetrating radar. Let's go. And she was like, the next time he spoke to her, I'm being sick. I don't know what's happening. And I was thinking, what the hell? Why would you even allow yourself to be online doing that? Like, you wouldn't.
Nope.
And people were questioning, was she high on something? Did she have COVID? Like, everybody was questioning what could possibly be wrong with her. And I just honestly think she didn't want anyone on a property. And that has been kind of made even more real by the fact that nobody has been on there. Ernie did come, didn't he? I think he did go to Tennessee, and I don't know what happened. They must have had some kind of falling out. I don't know whether he actually told anyone what had happened and why they fell out, because she came on his panel.
Eat his pizza. He went all the way up there with pizza and knocked on her door, and she didn't answer the door, so he left it on top of her car. I think that was probably the turning point. If a woman doesn't accept a man's pizza, then the man's done. Is that it?
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah.
I mean, everyone buys suspects and persons of interest in criminal cases pizza. That's been done before. Look at,
well, yes, we've seen that before in various cases.
It happens all the time in cases where suspects or persons of interest are bought pizza by random YouTubers. I mean, it's happened to one girl. She got like 6 pizzas turned up at her door that weren't paid for. And then it happened I think it was Benny,
but she got a bit more than pizza, apparently.
Right. And then it happened with Benny and Monica Sherrod. He bought a pizza, and now Ernie's taking pizza up to Candace's house, and she don't answer the door. So he left the pizza on top of her car. I'm thinking the reason these people fall out is because they don't like pizza very much. It's nothing to do with pizza.
Maybe you should have taken her a bottle of vodka and 20
right, or a bottle of R&R or something. Yeah, that would have got her to open the door.
Oh, God.
No.
Oh, dear. I don't know. Maybe it was vegetarian. I don't know. But for whatever reason, he...
Sausage pizza.
We're terrible, Kat. We're only joking, guys. You know what we're like. We just joke about. We don't mean any malice towards anybody. But oh, you're making me laugh.
Something happened. They obviously had... I mean, I think it was possibly at the point where Ernie turned around and said he's done... He knows... They've concluded, PHN have concluded the investigation into Summer's disappearance. This is his words. Concluded the investigation. Don, then he said something that Don did, in his words, to Summer before she died, in his words. And Candace buried her on the property, which is why he wanted to go search the property. So I can imagine at that point was possibly the point when Candace realised that she'd been played by Ernie and decided that she wasn't really going to talk to Ernie anymore. I think that's more than likely what happened.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Dawn has a lot to do with it. Having said that, we don't even know if she's actually in communication with him. I think she does speak to him every now and again, but I don't think she speaks to him as much as she did. Somebody said, just take a bag of weed up to the property. And I was thinking, I could just imagine Ernie stood at the window with this bag of weed, waving it in front of the window, knocking with one hand and going, she's not answering. Hello, hello. Door opens. Oh, hi, Candace.
Right. Right. They say that, was it food is the way to a man's heart? Well, obviously, the way to Candace's heart, and it's not food. Well,
it's not pizza.
It's definitely not pizza.
Oh, God. I don't know. You made me laugh. Right. So the next thing I've got to show you, guys, is this. Right. Let me get this comment off the screen. Where are we? Right. I don't know. Just press 1 and then press off. Right. Okay. Sorry, Sherry. I just need to get rid of some comments off the screen. Is that off the screen yet?
The comment's not. No, the comment's still on the screen.
Ugh. I'm trying to just...
There you go.
Right, there we go. Right. So, okay. So this was before Summer went missing, and it was a dismissal order. So he got to her, offered to buy her a new car or whatever he did, and she retracted the protection order that she'd taken out on Don, because she was mad with him at first because he pulled this thing out, you know, this weapon and whatever else had happened that night. We've all heard about it. And this was the order of protection that was dismissed. Okay, so this was filed, and it was on the 13th of October 2020. So year before, well, 6 months before Summer went missing. Now, the names of the children have been retracted on this form just for YouTube purposes, because, you know, there's a gag order on the kids. But I've already made a live regarding the fact that Donald wasn't supposed to be around the children. And I mean, you can call it hearsay if you want, but that's what I was told, that he wasn't supposed to be around the children. And so I was thinking, well, where was he living? Okay, so I looked here and it said respondents information. So this is Donald Wells, respondents information. And it says 110 Van Hill Road. So I was like, what? Van Hill? And I think most people took it as maybe just a spelling mistake. But that definitely does look like a V to me. Now, there's no other B's on here. Oh, there is a B there for Bly. So you can see that B for Bly is certainly different to this V here for Van, right? Mm-hmm. And then the A, which should be an E if we're talking it's Ben Hill, that A there for Van looks nothing like the E in Sessions at the top. Mm-hmm. Now, this is a court document, guys. For this to be wrong, I would think that that's not a good thing, really, if it's a court document, because then you're kind of making out that this order of dismissal petition isn't really valid at this case, because you've not even got his details right, because there's no date of birth here. So it just says Donald Wells and he's registered under his address, but that's not his address. So how can this order of dismissal actually be valid? I mean, it's a court document. What do you think, Kat, about that?
Well, it definitely says 110 Van Hill Road. 100% says that. There's no doubt in my mind that that's definitely what it says. Mm-hmm. I think you were saying to me earlier that you did some research on this Van Hill Road, which is near to John and Candace. Is that right?
Yeah. So I looked. I was obviously like, Van Hill Road? What's Van Hill Road? And so I uploaded some photos of Van Hill Road, of which none of them have uploaded. Wait a minute, what's this? What is this? No, that's not it. Let me see. Let me get them for you guys, because I think we need to have a look at this Van Hill Road, because Van Hill Road is actually in Rogersville. Right, I'm just gonna have to mute myself a second, Kat, just for 1 second.
So I'll just give a bit of context. So Emma has actually found where Van Hill Road is, and when I was looking at the previous document, I was wondering if at that point when his address was registered as 110 Van Hill Road, it could have been because he wasn't allowed at that point to be staying with Candace because there was an order of protection. So when the dismissal of the order of protection was put out, perhaps that at that point he was living at 110 Van Hill Road, which Emma's just trying to find a picture of that location at the moment. So he had to have been living at a different address because he wasn't at that point allowed to live with Candace because of the order of protection. So that to me is the only way that makes sense, because that definitely said Van Hill Road on that document. There was no doubt about it. And I kind of don't want to preempt what Emma's going to show because I'm not sure if she's even going to find the picture. But there seems to be some kind of motel or something at that address. And it's quite possible, I guess, that he was staying in a motel at the point where the protection order was issued, and that's why that address is on the document. Dream Big said, I just looked it up on Google Earth. Yeah, that's exactly what Emma did. So she's found that location, wasn't able to upload. There we go. She's got it on the screen now. You can come back now, Em. It's on the screen, darling. Em?
I'm here.
Yeah, it's on the screen now, sweet.
Okay, so this is Van Hill Road and it's 110, and it seems to be a industrial type road where there's lots of truck stops, gas stations, all that kind of stuff. And so I thought, well, I'll just have another look around. There is this kind of motel looking place where you could stay. There's also a Dollar General and there's truck stops.
Don't forget, this was October the 19th, 2020. So this was about 8 months before Summer went missing, that this address was used as Don's address. Because the domestic violence incident that precluded the document that we just saw happened 8 months before Summer disappeared. So I get that people are saying like they need to search this area. Perhaps they do, but in terms of Summer's disappearance, this happened 8 months beforehand. So that's just important to kind of bear in mind.
Yeah, I just saw the picture and I just thought, right, I'll just have a little look at this, and it just caught me. And at first I thought, oh, is it a mistake? You know, they've spelt it wrong. And maybe it is, you know, maybe it is. But to me, I kind of think it's a court document. I mean, nobody should really be making wrong errors, you know, on court documents.
I don't think it's an error. I think that he wasn't allowed to stay at
Yeah.
with Candace at that point because there'd been an order of protection. So at the point where the order was dismissed, he had to have been living somewhere else, and that was the address that he was at the time. And it's quite possible he was in that motel on that road, and therefore that was why they wrote that down. I don't think it was a mistake necessarily. I think it was possibly because that's where he actually was staying at the time. Or maybe that's the address he gave. I think the confusing part of it is because 110 is the same as their own house number, 110 Ben Hill Road and 110 Van Hill Road. He could almost be confused, but for the fact that there is actually a Van Hill Road, and it does appear to have residency type buildings on it as well. So
yeah,
he
I
would
mean,
have
if you think
needed
about
that
it,
address.
she'd rang up enough times to say that he was
Right.
threatening to KILL her and all sorts of other things, that he had a GUN and he was going to come back and he was going to get her, and you know the kids were all crying in the background, and you know that was enough. Surely that was enough for, even if she did dismiss this order of protection, she still, or the CPS still has a duty of care to these children, whether she's dismissed an order and she feels it's safe or not. People can be manipulated into doing that. And so they have to have a wider view of the situation and take the children if they, you know, and I think that she knew that was coming. Candace knew that was coming, that he was living somewhere else. But
just say goodnight to Joe Pro, as I call her. Joe, also known as Prolific.
Oh, Joe. Are you going to bed, Joe? It is late though here. This is my first night off. What time is it? Oh, it's 10:48. So yeah, it's about bedtime. Night night, sweetie. Have a good sleep. So let me have a little look, see what else is on my list. Oh, I've got some photos for you as well that I managed to find. Can't remember where. So this is Kingsport. So this is the Dollar General where Candace went
pizza from.
to buy her pizzas for the kids. You know, maybe other things, I don't know. And then this. Sorry, go on.
Oh, go no. This is the Walgreens. This is the one where they stopped, right, to get the prescription.
Yes. So this is where they went for the pharmacy to get the prescription. Oh, look at that red truck. But I don't know when this photo was taken. There's a lot of red trucks in Tennessee.
Yep.
But yeah, so these are Kingsport. So this will be exactly where they went to get that. And the Dollar General again. And then Sonic. This is the Sonic in Kingsport. So this is where they went that day for Summer's drink. I'd be interested to know if Summer got out of the car at this point and went in and got her own.
They went through the drive-through, didn't they?
Did they have a drive-through? I mean, we don't have a Sonic here, guys, so I wouldn't know.
No, Sonic in this country, Sonic is a hedgehog that jumps around on computer games and stuff.
Yes, exactly, Kat.
Well, it was when I was a kid, anyway. I don't know about now.
You said, "Do you want to go to Sonic?" I think it was some sort of like game store, you know. I certainly
exactly. I'd think they were talking about a hedgehog. That's all. Yeah, I've got a photo of the hippie house, haven't you?
The hippie house. Oh, I did have, but I haven't got that uploaded. It's like in my summer files in my phone. But I did have it up at one point. So the other thing I wanted to mention, or just a quick thing really quickly, anybody that entered that competition to win the jewelry, if you haven't gone across and looked on the community, I made a video actually about it. I made a video where I spun a wheel, and the winners were drawn out. So if you haven't watched that video, I need you to come forward so that I can send out the jewelry you won, and you might not even be aware that you actually won it. So go across and watch that little video. It's only a short one. What else? And just kind of last thing, I just wanted to mention what's going on, right? What is going on with Grandis and all these people that think they know her, and the friends and people coming forward, and then there's people arguing about whether it's this person and whether Jessica's real, and you know, she's real, obviously she's real, but whether what she's saying is real. And I'm fed up of hearing about it, to be honest.
It's like there's this fucking massive jealousy competition going on. Like, who knows Grandis the most? Who sent the most messages? Who sent the best messages? Who got the best response? Who got the truest response? Who really knows her and who only just made friends? It's like, I'm Spartacus. No, I'm Spartacus. Like, seriously, guys. She's a person of interest in a missing child investigation. She's not a prize in a game. You know, she's quite a dodgy woman by all accounts and purposes. She's got a checkered past the same way that everybody in this case does. It's really nothing to be proud of if you're most friends with Grandis. Please get over yourselves. I can't with that.
I just thought I'd put that on to end the stream.
Lovely. What a great end to the night that is, Emma. I mean, now we're having what is seen cannot be unseen, and therefore my dreams are going to consist of this image. Thank you.
I think what I want to know is, why is that Mountain Dew bottle so small?
Well, it is compared to them. Like, maybe it's just a perspective thing.
I was actually going to say because of how much they usually drink. I wasn't actually relating it to us. But you had to take it there, Kat. You had to take it there.
As a perspective. Like, if you put something behind someone, it looks smaller, doesn't it? Like, it's in the distance.
I just can't right now. I just can't. Oh, God.
Right, Mary Leslie Deal says she deserted her daughters. I am proud not to know her. Hear, hear. I agree. I'm fully, completely happy with the fact that I do not know that woman, or, well, that person that abandoned her own children, and abandoned
Grandchildren.
her own daughter and her grandchildren. Yeah, no, she's not the kind of person I'd be like, trying to pal up with, but that's just me. Just
Yeah.
saying.
I just think, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
I'm
It's
Spartacus.
law enforcement, the most important people when it comes to who said what. And if they feel that something's right and somebody can prove it, brilliant. It's not really up to us YouTubers to, if they can put something out, by all means, but who are we to be shouting, I want you to come in here now and tell me the
Right.
truth. I need you to come here and explain yourself. And it's like, well, wait a minute.
I mean, just kind of kindly looking at this, or kind of looking at it overall as a general thing rather than just specific to Candace, Grandis, these people, but just looking at what happens to children generally, and, parents and all of this involved in these cases, whatever. No one actually owes YouTubers anything.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
parents of any missing child, whether they're involved or not involved, never ever have to come on YouTube. They never have to speak to social media if they choose not to. And if they do choose to, and then they're torn apart by a community, or they're favored by a community, they still don't owe anyone anything. They still never have to come on and explain themselves again if they choose not to. So I just think we have to be a little bit more open to the fact that these people they don't owe us anything. They're not our friends. They're not our family. They don't have to come talk to us. There's no point trying to force these people to come and talk to us, because all you're doing is kind of setting your viewers up for something that's never going to happen. No matter how well you think you know that person still has the right, whether you like it or not, whether you're happy about it or not, to refuse to come talk to you, and that's something you have to accept when you're running, especially when you're running a YouTube channel.
And it's okay, saying, right, well, I'll get into chatting with so-and-so and maybe they'll tell me the truth, or going all the way to Tennessee to try and do some investigations yourself. But at the end of the day, you're not going to solve the case.
No.
None of us are going to solve the case. I'm certainly not going to solve the case from my Google Earth. You're not going to solve the case. None of us are going to solve the case. And it doesn't matter whether you drive all the way, fly all the way to Tennessee to have a look round and ask a few questions. It's not going to happen. I don't think it is. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're not privy to the case files. We're not privy to the information that the law enforcement has. And I guarantee that there's a lot more that they have than we'll ever have. So kind of going into it with a bit of an ego, saying, well, I can do this because I can solve this case. You can bring information that you find out. You can bring conversations that you have out, but you can't get into the LE files and find out what they know. They're not telling us stuff for a reason, because it's integral to the case. And if it's integral to the case, it means it's integral to the path of justice. So for justice to happen, as YouTubers, we have to be responsible enough to say, I'm not going to solve this. All I can do is provide the information I have. Can't provide the information LE has. That's privy to them,
Yeah, I completely agree. And there will be a lot. I'm sure they have a lot. And I know we all joke and it's like, Ellie, you're doing nothing. It doesn't feel like they're doing anything. But, I'm sure they do have plenty on these. Probably maybe not enough. Or they have some strategy going on that they're working through at the minute. Maybe they know she's not with us anymore. And so there's no rush in so to speak, to solve it, if that sounds bad. But if you know what I'm saying. And they're waiting to get more evidence on the people that they feel are involved in the disappearance of Summer. Mary Deathley says, Davy Crockett T8 Travel Centre is at 110 Van Hill Road. Great find, Emma. Now we know he was forced to live away from Ben Hill. But that's what I was thinking. I thought at first, I think a lot of people went over it and kind of just put it down to a misspelling. But it's a court document. There should be no misspellings, because at the end of the day, by misspelling something on a court document completely invalidates it and makes it not even the person you're talking about. That makes sense. So, you know, I think there might be something behind that, but I mean, where he lived prior, does that have anything to do with this? I don't think so, but I just thought I'd bring it to your attention anyway. But thank you so much for the super
agree.
chat.
I think that's right, because I think, you know, that's exactly what I was thinking. He wasn't allowed to live on Ben Hill Road during the time that protection order was in place. That's why the address is different to their home address, and that travel centre or motel or whatever it is that's at that address makes the most sense that he would be living somewhere, and that was the address that he was living at the
well, he
time.
had to be living somewhere. He didn't want to live too far away because he was obviously popping back more than he should do, and just, you know, like peering. So yeah, I think that could have been where he was, but who knows?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's right. And thank you so much for the super chat as well.
Yeah, thank you, honestly. That's really, I do appreciate her comments, actually, because she's a registered nurse as well. So we have stuff in common, and when I post certain things on my community page, she comments and I kind of get what she's talking about, which is nice, and we can kind of relay comments back and forth.
Yeah.
So
we like engaging with people. It's the reason why we do it.
You know? I love it, and that's why I do my job. One, because you never know what you're going to get next, which is great, because when you go to work in a bank, well, you know what you're going to get, don't you? You know what's coming. You work in a shop, you know what you're going to be doing every day. Whereas I never know what I'm going to get next. But it's also the fact that you're working with all these people. You never know who you're going to be talking to. One minute it could be a barrister, a man in an office, somebody that's earning billions a year. The next minute you're picking some heroin addict up the street. And I tell you what, I don't treat any of them any differently. They all get spoken to exactly the same, and I'm friendly to all of them, because nobody deserves to be spoken to any different. You know, it doesn't matter how much money you've got or how little you have in life. Everybody should be treated with the same respect, I think.
Well,
unless of course you've done in Candace, then obviously it's a little bit different.
Well, everyone's got their own story, haven't they? And I guess, you know,
exactly, yeah,
that's what makes us all unique.
So, but it's your bedtime now, Kat. I bet you're tired, aren't you? You're falling asleep.
I mean, I didn't actually say earlier that I had to have a full body massage today, courtesy of my college, bless their hearts, because I'm in agony. I've a trapped nerve or a frozen shoulder or something's going on, and I'm meant to be doing this dance routine. We're in rehearsals today, and I've got the show on Monday, so I am going to go take some codeine and paracetamol, Tylenol, whatever you guys call it out there. I've been putting it off because it makes me quite sleepy, so I wanted to be alert for the stream. But yeah, I need to go and take some of those painkillers now and have a nice night's sleep, because from tomorrow onwards it's all go. So yeah. But this has been awesome. It's been really good. I've really enjoyed coming back and chatting with you guys. It's actually really nice. I feel really honoured that Emma trusts me enough to have me on her channel, and I love talking to you guys. Thank you so much for sharing my channel link in the chat as well. And yeah, thank you so much, Emma. It's been really good to catch up, and I've really enjoyed this live, so thank you.
Yeah, I've appreciated you coming on. It's always nice to have a chat and a catch up, and we do get on really well, and we do laugh, and it's just always good fun when you come on. So thank you.
Yeah,
I hope you feel a little bit better tomorrow and you're not in so much pain, so you can do dancing.
Thank you, and thank you, everyone. Okay, I'm going to go now because I'm going to take my beans, but I'll carry on listening until you finish. So
okay,
all right, Emma. Talk to you soon, everyone.
Bye. See you soon. Bye. So let's get this picture off the screen. I think we've looked at that long enough. So guys, it's been a week. It has been a week. I am deathly tired. I've literally slept most of the day. Hopefully I'll sleep tonight. I'm desperate to see the boyfriend. He's been in Egypt. I've missed him so much. And he's come back, and we've both been working shifts. So I've not really seen him very much at all since he's come back. So hopefully I'll be able to see him in the next couple of days, and I can actually have a cuddle, which I've missed. But I hope you're okay. I hope you're all well. Thank you for all tuning in. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you so much to the mods, Candace, everybody that comes on and just supports the channel by watching the videos. We do really appreciate it here. If you are interested in true crime and you do like crime documentaries, I've made quite a few recently. I've got one that's about to upload. I've got a couple of others. Bulus, watch out, Candace says. I've got a couple of others that I've made recently. One that's really good about CPS and the ongoing situation with this little girl and then what happens with her. There's been a few that I've made recently. If you have a look, they are really quite good. And they last between 20 and about 50 minutes. So if you're going to bed later or you're doing a bit of cleaning, washing, whatever you're doing, and you want to just listen to something, pop one of those on, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. I have been trying to do a little bit of a sidestep, as much as I want to carry on with the Summer Wells case, and I'm not going to give up on it. I also do want to kind of step more into the true crime documentary series and not have to deal so much with the ongoing ridiculous drama in our true crime community that so many people seem to live by, and I don't want to. So yeah, zero drama on this channel. But thank you all for watching, guys. And oh, wait a minute, what's this? Emma, people spreading rumors that H is married, but his father said no. No, I don't think he is. His dad said no. And then, as we mentioned earlier, it was a thing on like TikTok a while ago where kids were doing it with their either sisters or their girlfriends or whatever. It was just like a thing to do. Everybody was doing it. It was like pretending to be getting engaged, so people thought they were getting engaged. I think it's a load of rubbish. But if you look at the photo of him, he actually had really short hair at the time, like shaved hair, and at the minute he's got dreads. So I don't think it's a recent photo. Looking at it again, yeah. But thank you, Kat, for coming on. I always appreciate that. I like catching up with Kat. She's one of the only ones that we usually have on this channel now. But thank you for listening, guys. I'm going to end this stream because I'm going to go see Penny before she goes to bed and lay down, relax for a little bit, finish off this documentary that I'm making, and go to sleep. So take care, guys. I love you all, and I'll be back with you again soon. Bye, guys.
Lightning strikes by my window, hits my chest right in the morning, like a warning. Could have slept here for days.